Let's transition to the wild card matchup in the NFC. We got the Arizona Cardinals at 11-6, traveling to LA to take on a 12-5 LA Rams. It's an 8:15 p.m. start on ESPN on Monday. Kyler Murray versus Matthew Stafford, two NFC West opponents who have already faced off against each other this season. You remember earlier this season, the Arizona Cardinals, they beat the LA Rams. What was it? It was in week 4. The Cardinals, they beat the Rams 37-20 in LA. But then in week 14, the Rams, they went out to Arizona and they beat the Cardinals 30-23. And they got after Kyler Murray in that game. So I'm looking forward to this matchup. This honestly is the most exciting matchup of Wild Card Weekend, right along with 49ers Cowboys. I mean, this game has it all. These two teams are very familiar with one another. They play each other twice a year. But for me, let's talk about the Arizona Cardinals. That's what I want to start off in this game. The Arizona Cardinals are a team that is great on the road, but they struggle at home. In this game, I don't think the Cardinals are going to be rattled. I think they'll be ready for this moment. They are 8-1 on the road this year. They're only 3-5 at home. They lost 5 straight home games to end the season. So I think the Cardinals are happy to be on the road playing in LA. This matchup is important for Kyler Murray to show what he's made of. Because, you know, on the season, Kyler Murray, his numbers, he is 24 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. He's thrown for over 3,500 passing yards. He is completing 69% of his passes. We know how dynamic of a playmaker that Kyler Murray is. He was an NFL MVP candidate earlier this season. And I think for the Arizona Cardinals to have a chance, they need Kyler Murray to make some plays with his arm and with his legs in this game. The Arizona Cardinals, they average 393 total yards per game. That's ranked 6th in the NFL. They are ranked 10th in the NFL at passing yards per game with 251 passing yards per game. And then they have 122 rushing yards per game. That's ranked 10th in the NFL. I think a key for the Cardinals is going to be Edmonds and Connor in the running game. Will they be able to run the football effectively against this Rams front seven? Because I saw last week, the Rams, they struggled against the 49ers at being able to stop the run. Last week, the 49ers, they had 135 rushing yards against that Rams defense. And it's surprising because the Rams, they got playmakers up front. You got one of the best defensive players in the NFL and Aaron Donald. You got Leonard Floyd up front. You got Greg Gaines at nose tackle. You got, Christian Rosebaum, at linebacker. And you got Von Miller, a proven pass rusher who's made plays in the postseason. I don't understand why the Rams struggle to stop the run the way that they do. They struggle at being able to stop the run. And that's an issue. That's an issue because I believe if they struggle to stop the run in this game, it could be trouble for the Rams. It could be trouble. And also, we know offensively the Rams don't run the football. They're ranked 25th in the NFL at being able to run the football. They average 99 yards per game. So it's important for the Rams to be able to win in the trenches in this game. On the defense, I want to see if the Rams can put some pressure on Kyler Murray. There's not going to be no DeAndre Hopkins in this game. So that matchup with Jalen Ramsey versus DeAndre Hopkins is a big-time matchup. I would love to see it. I'm upset that D-Hop got injured during the season, but it's going to be key for the Rams to stop the Cardinals in their running game with Edmonds and with Connor. That's going to be key. And I want to see which one of these receivers can make plays for Kyler Murray in this Cardinals offense. Who's going to step up? Who's it going to be? Last week against the Seattle Seahawks, Ertz, the tight end, he stepped up. That was a great pickup for the Arizona Cardinals this season. 7 receptions, 84 yards. He was okay, but these other receivers like A.J. Green, it's a good chance the Rams want to put Jalen Ramsey on A.J. Green. So I don't expect A.J. Green to have a big-time game. I think Jalen Ramsey is going to shadow A.J. Green all over the field. So who's going to step up for the Cardinals in their receiving corps? Will it be, Benjamin at the running back position? Like, is it going to be Christian Kirk? Who's going to step up? I just don't know if the Cardinals has anyone who can make plays in the passing game for Kyler Murray. He's going to need that. He's going to need that for them to be able to win this game. Defensively, for the LA Rams, they are one of those teams that are ranked 6th in the NFL against the run, but they struggled against the run against the 49ers last week. And if the Cardinals can have some success running the football, it could be some trouble for that Rams defense. Now, they are ranked 22nd in the NFL against the pass. That's the Rams. They give up 241 passing yards per game. If the Cardinals can have a reliable receiver to make plays in the passing game for Kyler Murray, they could win this game. But with all that being said, make no mistake about it, we all know that Matthew Stafford has a lot of pressure on him heading into this game. He has significant pressure on him heading into this game. The Rams, the move that they made to bring Matthew Stafford to LA, everything they traded away to get Matthew Stafford, giving up Jared Goff, giving up the picks they gave up, they brought in Matthew Stafford for the postseason. This is where Matthew Stafford needs to make his money and let it be known that he is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. But in his career in the postseason, even though he was playing with the Detroit Lions, Matthew Stafford hasn't played well. He's 0-3 in the postseason. He has 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He has 303 total passing yards in the playoffs. He has not played well. And in the last 4 games of the regular season, Matthew Stafford threw 8 interceptions. He threw 8 interceptions. And then last week against the 49ers, he threw 2 interceptions. And the 49ers, they were able to pick off Matthew Stafford and seal the win. He completely underthrew Odell Beckham in that overtime loss. So I got my questions about Matthew Stafford. I know on the season, he has 41 touchdowns to 17 interceptions. He's thrown for close to 5,000 passing yards. But I believe Matthew Stafford has the most pressure on him more than any other quarterback heading into the postseason. I really, really do. Everything that the Rams gave up for Matthew Stafford, if the Rams are one and done, that would be a major disappointment for the LA Rams organization. And not just Matthew Stafford, for Sean McVay as well. Sean McVay, he went to the Super Bowl with Jared Goff in 2018. We have to see if Sean McVay can get the Rams back to the Super Bowl now that he has Matthew Stafford as his quarterback. You wanted Matthew Stafford, Sean. You got him. Let's see what you do in the postseason. I think the Rams have more pressure on them heading into this game than the Arizona Cardinals. All of the moves that the LA Rams have made, they signed Odell Beckham in free agency. They traded for Von Miller with the Denver Broncos earlier this season. They just signed Eric Weddle for the postseason. Offensively, they got Cam Akers back. They got Cooper Kupp, one of the best receivers in the NFL. They got so many dynamic players on their team. If the Rams lose in their matchup against the Cardinals and they are one and done, I don't know if Sean McVay, he'll be able to overcome that. Sean McVay has to get it done this postseason. Offensively, the LA Rams, they come into the game, they average 386 yards per game, ranked 9th in the NFL. They average 273 total passing yards per game. So we've seen Matthew Stafford throw interceptions, but he's been able to overcome those turnovers and perform at a high level in clutch situations in the regular season. That's the regular season. It's the playoffs. It's an entirely different animal in the playoffs. And we know pressure bursts pipes. And I saw last week when the 49ers came back in that game, Matthew Stafford seemed rattled. He seemed rattled. And I don't know if I trust Matthew Stafford in the playoffs against a Tom Brady or against an Aaron Rodgers, which is why, even though this is Kyler Murray's first playoff game, I got to be honest. I think I trust Kyler Murray a little bit more than I trust Matthew Stafford right now. I really, really do. Like, Stafford has gotten rattled in important games for the Rams late in the season. 8 interceptions his last 4 games is not good. It's not good. But, you know, I want to see what kind of impact J.J. Watt will have in this game. They say J.J. Watt been practicing this week. He looks like he's going to play in this game. You know, Chandler Jones up front as well as a pass rusher for Arizona. You know, I think if they can apply some pressure on Matthew Stafford and rattle him, I think that could be a recipe for success for this Arizona Cardinals team. And I think they could possibly pull off the upset. You know, up front, you got Jordan Phillips, who's questionable in this game. You know, at linebacker, you got Jordan Hicks, you got Chandler Jones, Isaiah Simmons, who was one of the best young linebackers in the NFL. You know, like, I think they have some guys at linebacker and up front who can apply some pressure on Matthew Stafford. I really do. In the back end, you got Buda Baker, you got Byron Murphy. You know, I want to see how they perform against Cooper Kupp and Odell Beckham in the passing game. Like, I want to see like that. That's going to be a key right there. You know, Byron Murphy, Jalen Thompson, Buda Baker, Marco Williams. You know, how will they perform against Odell Beckham? You know, Cooper Kupp, Tyler Higbee. You know, like, how are they going to perform in that game? Jefferson, the receiver for the Rams, how are they going to perform? Cam Akers. I think it's going to be important for the Rams to establish a running game with Cam Akers. They're ranked 25th in the NFL at rushing yards per game. They average 99 rushing yards per game. Can they run the football with Cam Akers and take some pressure off Matthew Stafford? Can you do that? That's going to be key. If they can, they'll have a chance. If they can, they will have a chance. This is going to be a big-time matchup. Sean McVay versus Cliff Kingsbury. Cardinals playing with zero pressure. Rams playing with all the pressure to win this game. I think Kyler Murray is going to outperform Matthew Stafford in this game. I'm rolling with the Arizona Cardinals to beat the LA Rams in LA. I got Cardinals 24, Rams 20. I think the Rams are going to struggle at being able to run the football, and I think it's going to come back to haunt them. I think Edmonds and Connor are going to balance out that Cardinals rushing attack. I think Kyler Murray is going to make 2 or 3 big-time plays with his legs in this game, and I think the Arizona Cardinals are going to advance in the playoffs, and they're going to beat the LA Rams in LA. Cardinals 24, Rams 20. And I think it's going to be a disappointing end to the season for the LA Rams.